guys, thanks for tuning in this week to Mariel's Realistic Real Estate Advice. I'm Mariel with Fathom Realty. This week, I wanted to talk about a very common topic here in the state of Texas. If you live in a state where your soil is sandy or it has a lot of clay in it, sometimes you can experience a lot of soil movement. And I've talked about this in some of my other episodes, but it's very common for homes here in Texas to have settling and to experience little cosmetic problems that happen when the house moves. And I wanted to talk about what are, cosmetic versus possibly problematic issues when it comes to foundation, what to look for, and why I would suggest a structural engineer over a foundation company when it comes time to bring in a professional to make sure your foundation is okay. All right, so let's go over some of the cosmetic things that are more than likely just cosmetic than more problematic. But what's super common here in Texas is that you'll find little hairline cracks everywhere because when the soil, there's so much movement going on, the house is adjusting, sometimes things separate a little bit. And I mean just a little bit. So it's very common to see little hairline cracks in cement, concrete. It's very common to see them in corners of a room or above doors, or even outside on the exterior if there's like a little bit of separation on the siding or a little bit on the brick. I mean hairline, right? Those are more cosmetic. More than likely, anything wrong. When we go into more possibly problematic is when there is issues opening, closing doors. If your door is not staying shut, sometimes your kitchen cabinets are just out and they won't close. If you're having difficulties opening up and closing windows, if there's much larger than hairline cracks on the exterior or your driveway of your home or even the interior, one of the biggest things that I see that are huge red flags is that if you're in a home and you see these diagonal or horizontal lines on the edges of doors and windows, that's something to pay attention to. I've been in homes where the two edges of a room meet, the corner start to separate. If there's bulges in the concrete, I'm not talking about like a corner pop, but bulges, there's been significant movement. That might be time to bring someone in and make sure that your foundation is okay. I mean, sometimes you can even feel when you're walking in a house, the different levels and the movement of the floor. If your floor is lifting, you need to have someone make sure that your foundation's okay and that your home is in okay condition to keep living in, right? So another thing that my clients always ask me, hey, do you know a good foundation company? Like, I'm worried about my house. I want to make sure that everything's okay. I know fantastic foundation companies. But I will always suggest more towards a structural engineer. Now they are more expensive. It's a couple of $100s to get them to come out. But the reason why I do that is because a structural engineer is more than likely going to give you the best unbiased opinion. They're not going to be bidding for your work. They're not there to find a job. They're there to be extremely precise. They're going to be the ones to measure everything extremely well. They're going to be drawing everything out for you and coming up with the game plan of like, hey, this is where you're at. This is what needs to be done to make sure that your house is going to be solid for the next 10 to 15 years minimum. So I would always strongly suggest get a structural engineer, get someone that does this for a living, and they just want to make sure that the foundation of your home is okay, and that if you don't need extensive work done, that you don't have to go ahead and spend the unnecessary money. And sometimes with foundation work, you don't want to go overboard, right? Because you could really damage the structural integrity of that foundation itself. So you want to do what you need to do at that moment of time and make sure that you hire a professional that gives you either a transferable warranty or will give you a warranty to up to a certain period of time. So that's all I wanted to talk with you guys about today. I hope that all of your foundations are okay. If you have any questions or comments or a really good story about your foundation or a home that you've seen before and what happened, drop your comments below. If you ever have any questions, reach out to me. My information's on my profile. I have an amazing topic for you guys next week, and I'm so excited. In the meantime, I hope you have a blessed weekend, and I will talk to you then.